Philly fan. Philly fan.
Alright, man, so we in the building, man, with OG, Dawg. You also go by, a couple different names, Samad, government name Terry Starks, know what I mean? But I know you as an OG from North Philly, you know what I mean? And you got a crazy story that a lot of people can relate to, so I just want you to share your story on this platform, know what I mean? So let's start from the beginning, know what I mean? You from North Philly, know what I mean? 8th and Diamond. So give them that rundown, like what that was like for you growing up back then and all that.
Oh man, it was brotherly love back then. It was more about, helping each other in the community. It was more about people coming together and being like a source. And 8th and Diamond was a source we created that brought the neighborhood together. We made sure everybody made money. We made sure everybody got educated, So growing up at 8th and Diamond, it was more about, and we was cool because we played basketball, so we was kind of like cool with everybody. So we connected with different neighborhoods from playing basketball, and that's what led us citywide. Basketball pretty much brought everybody together, and they knew all of us for basketball. And that was really like the best part about growing up in 8th and Diamond, because we had Hartrank, we had Warnock Street, we had 7th and Montgomery, we had Beirut. It was just camaraderie, teamwork. And like I said, growing up in 8th and Diamond, it was more about teaching. It was more about empowering. So I retired from 8th and Diamond in 2007.
Alright, yeah, we're going to give them that spill. So, you did the joint, a couple years ago. Well, we did an interview with you when we first started out, like I was telling you. And, you did the feature joint on the Oprah Winfrey Network. And you was kind of sharing some of your story on there. And one of the things that they was talking about with you was you had started out in the streets at a real early age. So give them that spill, like how young you was, what made you get into it, what the experience was for you and all of that.
Yeah, man, like I'm saying, I was probably like 11 years old, like coming off the step. But it was more like coming off the step in 8th and Diamond and being a part of a culture. It was more organized and more of a mentor and shit. Like the old heads gave us like a mentor. I was probably 11, but I was being educated by some of the best people on the planet, because you had game from all different types of aspects: the hustler, the worker, the gambler, the robber, the shooter. You took all of that bits and puzzles of it, and like I said, we created the leadership role, and it pretty much made us the new leaders. So now we're doing it like on a bigger scale as far as community, and just trying to empower communities to really bring back the essence of how it used to be. And that's the most important part, the essence. It's no essence in the city now, so if we can bring the essence back, then people will start understanding that, we is a beautiful city,
Alright. And on the joint that mentioned, like, you had your own apartment and stuff, like, what was like 13 or something like that?
Yeah, I had my first apartment at 13. From 11 to 13, I was pretty much on the streets growing up and learning the system, because a system in the streets was economics. It was more about learning your system to grow you up. And once I mastered my system by the age of 13, I was out my mom's house. It was either, it's 4.5 or get out my house. Mom said, get out of the house, or I'm looking at this 4 and I'm like, this 10,000,
So you had 4.5 when you was like 11 to 13 years old.
You know what I mean? And it was, like I said, coming up in the streets, it was more about, wasn't no bags, it was cats. So it was money. And I left my mom's house at 13. I ended up taking care of the rest of my family from 13 to about, like I said, 26. I retired after being shot in the street. So it was more about me putting my trust in people, because this man had a church. I thought that he was the one that I can trust in, But he ended up turning the gun on me and shot me 5 times in my chest.
Oh yeah, we gonna get to that. I want to get to that because I just want to stick on this part a little bit, because you got interesting story in that sense that most people, never experienced. Like most people can't say I was 13 years old, I had my own apartment, I was taking care of my family. So like, what what was the mentality like growing up like that? You said from 13 to 26. So what was that mentality? What was that experience like being a guy that people rely on at such a young age? Like,
I mean, I always wanted to be a leader. I think my mom pretty much jinxed me at the age of 10 when she called me a wannabe. When she called me a wannabe, that made me wanted to be everything I ever wanted to be. I really focused on proving people wrong, and it was pretty much proving my own mom wrong because, like I said, it was more about her saying that I was a wannabe, so it was like an ego thing.
Alright. So yeah, moving past that, you said you had got shot a couple times, and that kind of made you retire from the street. So speak on that experience, because you had a nice little run starting off early into becoming a grown man, then end up putting it down because of that experience. So give people that side of the story.
Yeah, I give you my side because, like I said, once you get to feeling yourself out here in these streets and you get to growing into the name that you create for yourself in these streets, it's more about, you never look at it that you setting yourself up for failure because, like I said, being as though me, I got shot by a pastor in the streets. I trusted a church.
You said it was a pastor that shot you?
Yeah, it was a church that, I felt comfortable with,
Wow.
because he not going nowhere, and then this community stuff, so I'm thinking this is a part of the culture. You understand what I'm saying? So my trust level was into a pastor because he had a church and not really realizing that it was a game that I was in and not really taking the game lightly. I pretty much got comfortable with dealing with a pastor.
Wow. So you say you end up shooting, you said 5-6 times?
He shot me 5 times in the chest. I got open heart surgery. I mean, I'll show you this thing, man. I got open heart surgery. Like I said, I got a bullet lodged in my heart, bullet lodged on my spine. Like I said, when I woke up out of the hospital 19 days later, it pretty much woke me up. And I never been back asleep, so it led me to fighting the gun violence in the city of Philadelphia, because who better at it than a person who been a part of it? And a lot of people can talk about gun violence but haven't been hit by gun violence to even think about what happens when bullets pierce inside of you and you have to wake up from it and you become a different person. You understand what I'm saying? You paranoid. People don't understand that part of it, so you're really not a sociable person like you used to be. And being shot really made me realize that I wanted to stop other people from being shot. So that's what led me to fighting gun violence in the city of Philadelphia. This is my 8th year into this journey. I've been around the city, I'm moving around, we educating, empowering through different neighborhoods, growing a fan base out, but not really worried about fans or likes or anything like that, because they, like I said, these media things is a gift and is a curse. It puts the evil eye on you. So people, they see you growing in different fields. They don't really like that. So it's like shooting a person now is how you become popular. But I'm here to tell you as a survivor that when you shoot somebody, 9 times out of 10, somebody gonna shoot you. And if they don't get you today, they gonna get you tomorrow. If they don't get you tomorrow, it's gonna end up being one of your children or somebody of that nature that you can't really have no control over. So, like I said, for me being shot, it actually changed my life. It helped me to take that negative part of my life and turn it into a positive. And now I'm a crisis response center for the community.
Alright, so before we get into all that stuff that you're doing today, because you're doing a lot of stuff today and all of that, I just want to touch on one more thing, because you've been through the streets, you've been shot. Also, I want you to speak on the jail experiences too, like the little encounters you had with that. I want you to get on that side, because you could tell the full scope of the whole story, so I want you to give me your experiences with that as well.
Yeah, so 2006, I lost my case with the state of Pennsylvania. And so they sent me upstate, but like I said, I had good lawyers. They got me boot camp, but I still went through the process and had to sit upstate for about 14 months. And just learning and being around people upstate, I really realized that people go back to jail because jail ain't really jail no more. Jail is like a grown man daycare, and to have a TV and have a radio and have things of that nature, an iPad, not an iPad, but a tablet, you know, that you're not locked up. You pretty much in a country club unless you get caught up in the negativity part of being in jail. Then that what makes it 10 times harder because you got to go to the hole and stuff like that. But jail actually freed my mind. I was more free in jail than actually out here because I got a chance to really focus in on myself and focus in on things that I wanted to do. Nobody would have told me I would be doing this type of work today. But jail helped me, you know, structure me and taught me how to occupy my time, how to stay away from people, places, and things, and actually how to grow as a human being. But it's really mentally. You got to be mentally challenging yourself to grow.
Right. All right. So now I want to get into your experience in the Philly hip hop scene. So you from If and Diamond, and you know a lot of people might know Joey Jahari from Delhi Dolphin, which is, you know what I mean, right there. So speak on, you know, at one point in time that was I first heard of you as being Hattie Oldhead. So I mean, so speak on that experience working with him and stuff like that. And first, that was your first artist you said that you really was working with like that. So.
Oh man, it was more. It was a bunch of. It was Chuck. It was Fufu. It was a bunch of them. The thing was. It was a guy named Rick that was doing Heavy Footage Volume 2. And one day Hattie had pulled up on me and was like, man, call Rick. So we called Rick. Rick came right down and filmed us on 8th and Susquehanna. I'm quite sure Philly y'all seen it when the smokers was getting kicked in their ass and all that, you know, on the block, and we was doing a DVD or whatever. But it was more about showcasing Hattie as a person. You understand what I'm saying? And that verse, it always be an all-time verse in Philadelphia. I don't care what nobody said. That verse that he spitted was pretty much that brought him to the light. And like I said, music was always into it. So, you know, like I said, I pretty much gave up on music because everybody that we was rapping with at that time ended up catching a body or going to jail or going to the feds and stuff like that. And I started to learn. Sometimes when you rap about what you're doing, you kind of like speaking your fall into existence. Like you can talk about that talk, but 10 years down the line when you in Farrington or you SCI Rock, you are one of them, you gonna remember all the times and they gonna remember all the public records that you filmed yourself on, you know, talking this kind of talk that's breeding madness into the world. So like I said, for all the rappers, you know, Philly is more about a city of culture. So we're not telling you that not to rap that type of rap, but, you know, structure the rap. First verse I was shot, second verse I was shooting, third verse we both went to jail. That could be the realest song ever. Or first verse I was shooting, second verse I killed somebody or I got killed, third verse is my kids or my family stuck with all this fighting over this property and things of that nature that you accumulate. So, like I said, Philly hip-hop just need to be structured. It need to be structured on how to change the mindset of the community and not actually rapping all day about destroying the community. And we can use rap as a great tool to fix the problem in Philadelphia. But the artists, all artists have to come together. You gotta have features with R&B, you gotta have features with Spanish, Latin. Like if you really wanna do this work, you gotta really soul search because you might not get a fan base in your own race. But you might get that song with that Spanish guy or that Dominican guy or that Cuban guy or that white guy or that Chinese guy that might go all over the world. So I want y'all to expand y'all minds, but music is always gonna be first. We have a recording studio down here for artists to get off the streets and get their work done. But like I said, Philly, the music is here, you know, and we here to help the musicians grow.
Alright. And yeah, speaking on the work you're doing today, like you say, you out here fighting gun violence, you out here, you know, working with the youth, trying to get them off the street. You got a lot of programs and stuff you've been doing. And one of the things you're most known for in Philly, especially North Philly, is having the casket outside and, you know, bringing the youth up there, letting them see it and really speaking to them, like letting them know, like, this is where you could be and give them the rundown on that. Look, what made you do that, the impact that had. I see you bringing a lot of big people down here. I mean, it's a lot going on with that, so give them the rundown with that.
I mean, the casket just symbolizes enough is enough. Like, you know, we got to watch the body. Like, and there's one thing about actually, and I want Philly to understand this, it's one thing about shooting a person, but I would personally challenge the shooter to come watch the body with me. You understand what I'm saying? So you can get to see what bullets do to people. Because after that person is done, his soul is left, but that deed is on you. And you don't realize that that deed is on you, so you continue to keep doing it and building up this stuff on your name. And then when you get soul searched and your soul leave your body, you got an answer for that. So like I said, fighting violence and putting a casket in the middle of the poorest community is not to glamorize the shooting. And let's get that right, Philly. It's not glamorizing the shooting. It's just a reality check. When you come past 16 from Lehigh, you know right now Philadelphia is 8 murders away from the murder rate that happened last year. So we still got a month and some change left. So, and then we just had 13 shootings in the last 28 hours in Philadelphia. So you got people shot in wheelchairs, you got women shot, you got men shot, you know, babies being killed. So, like I said, shooting is actually tearing and destroying a community. And if we had enough like-minded individuals that really want to fight this fight, they would be out here without the cameras, without the accolades and all of that. Because one thing is about glamorizing, and it's another thing about political sides of it, and then it's another thing about socializing. So, like I said, the casket really just helps a person not be inside of it. We want to show you it before death happened to you. We want you to ride past and get in the mind frame of I can be in that casket if I'm doing something. So that's what the casket is out there for.
Alright. Now give people the rundown on some of the, you know, like I spoke on, like you had the Oprah Winfrey Network, you know, feature your story and stuff like that. So speak on like the different news people and stuff. Like a lot of people like that's watching this that may not be familiar, might not know that a lot of the big news, worldwide news stuff that feature you on your story and stuff that you've been doing. So speak on what's that been like getting national, you know, press for the stuff that you're doing here in Philly.
Yeah, I mean globally, like I said, we kind of like got on the radar from world news first. World news came out first when we was doing the 28-day prison and death fast. And if y'all want to study the story, you can go back to the 28-day prison and death fast with me and Michael Tabine when we started.
Alright, so for anybody that's watching that want to get involved in what you're doing, that want to help, or they want to come, you know, take advantage of the services that y'all offer with the business and all that, plug your info, like how people can reach out to you, how they can contact you, how they can get down with what you got going on.
Yeah, first I had Express Yourself. Y'all know me as at Express Yourself. They took that page, so I'm now at Express Yourself 2, the number 2. And you can reach me at that number, that page if you want to Instagram, Facebook. I'm on Samaya Starks. Email me at starkst83@yahoo.com. starkst83@yahoo.com. And pretty much we open the service in the community. We can take some of the rappers up to the prisons. I'll go up Greater Fort next week. I would like to take some of the rappers up, you know, just to show them how grown men is in there trying to fight to get out. And we rushing in the city trying to get in. So we got to find a balance from the political system all the way down to the community system. So like I said, reach out to us. We always open. Shout out to Philly Fame TV. Man, that boy show, he going places, man. He the one that's the glue to unite the city because he's a mediator. And people don't really realize the mediator's position. Once you're a mediator, you can pretty much bring two sides together on camera and settle all differences. And I would challenge all of the people in Philadelphia, squash the beef today and live tomorrow, but not just live, grow. Because a lot of times we leaving our kids out here to be on other people's watches and our women and our families on other people. It's not going to be the same love. So Philadelphia, like I said, major shout outs to everybody that's doing everything that they doing in the city. But our goal is to bring the whole. It's to unify the whole. I don't care who get the accolade for it or none of that. We just want to see if we can get the artists to clean up the streets, establish community meetings, and play each other for peace. We're going to be coming around the city with the casket tour that's starting. We're going to come to play your neighborhood first. Then we're going to come clean your neighborhood. Then we're going to establish community meetings, but we're going to need the artists to keep the meetings going, because like I said, a lot of times we do events and stuff like that, it don't last long. We want to keep something ongoing going, and it should be hubs that's set up for better educational uses. Not worrying about everything everybody else doing, get rich schemes and all of that stuff. Just focusing on community and what's the issues of the community, because a lot of people walking around right now is in deep depression, and nobody knows it because they keep it to themselves. So I encourage everybody, man, to speak to somebody if you got something on your mind. Don't just react. So like I said, my name Terry Starks, and I'm signing out. You know, shout outs to Philly fame again, man. Y'all go on places, bro.